Cannabis Stocks and CEO interviews brought to you by Rich TV Live.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is your boy Rich here on behalf of Rich TV Live, and I'm here with a very special guest. It's Daniel Emeduri from FutureMoneyTrends.com. How you doing today, Daniel?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
My pleasure. So we wanted to take the time today to learn a little bit more about FutureMoneyTrends.com and talk a little bit about the cannabis sector, which I know you've been very successful with. So why don't you let us know a little bit about your story?
You know, I really have always been an entrepreneur and interested in business. I bought my first business when I was 16, first house when I was 18, started investing in stocks right at 18 years old, and just was fascinated with it. And it all, you know, it was always something that interested me. And then, of course, I got into the Kiyosaki books when I was 13 years old. I read his book, Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School, which I don't think anybody else read, because then, you know, a few years later, he came out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's kind of the one that everybody knows about. And of course, I read that and just loved it. In fact, I play with my kids all the cash flow games.
Oh, wow.
And it all led to starting FutureMoneyTrends.com, which focuses on investing in different trends and building up a personal wealth cash flow machine. And that is because my main focus is on cash flow investments, but I do believe you can use things to really kickstart or hyper drive your growth by investing in these startup companies. And I typically, I don't care what sector it is in, whether it's cryptocurrency or gold or oil or cannabis. I just want to be where the trend is hot, because I understand that it doesn't matter how great a company is or how great the people are. If you're in a bear market, they're just not going to perform well.
That is great advice. That is great advice. Now, FutureMoneyTrends.com, you guys have 150,000 subscribers on all your social media. Why don't you tell the viewers that are watching a little bit about what you guys do and how you help create wealth for others?
We do it two ways. Half of it, the letter. First of all, it's a free letter. And I share my story, because what happened was I made a lot of money when I was young, and then I lost it all in 2008 and had to restart. And my wife and I sacrificed and did it together. We have all kinds of crazy stories, like getting rid of our dogs and canceling the TV bill, moving to the desert and living like poor people. But it was all for the greater goal of being financially independent. And we did it we tried to do it in 10 years, and we did it in less than about 5 years. And so it's definitely possible. And I like to share my story because I think people can mimic this very easily. I don't have any kind of special training or education. So to me, this is very doable for people. And then the other half of the letter is me sharing the ideas and the investments that I'm involved in with right now.
Wow. Well, that sounds fantastic. Now, what are some of the investments that you're looking at? We talked a little bit about cannabis stocks. Obviously, I'm very heavily involved in the cannabis sector. What do you think about the cannabis sector right now?
I think the cannabis space is the place to be. It's an end of a prohibition. Less than, I think, around 25% of the United States, it's even legal. And that's counting places that are still building out their infrastructure. So there's tremendous upside in this space for many years to come. We're going to have a lot of ups and downs, just like the dot-coms did in the early 90s. And I don't say dot-coms to scare people like it's the year 2000 for the dot-coms. It's like 1989 for the dot-coms in the cannabis space. We haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to the rest of the world, or what's going to happen when the federal government makes it legal. It's going to be like the Hoover Dam going into a garden hose when it comes to how much capital we'll be able to flow. Because I personally had my bank accounts closed with Bank of America because I got paid by a cannabis company for helping them out with some marketing. So I know that it's real. Like, it's hard. It's hard to be a cannabis company. And most of the money being made is by the attorneys. But if you partner with the right people and the right companies, This is something where you're going to be able to buy companies at $5 to $15 million valuations today, and they have a real shot at becoming billion-dollar companies.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Now, what do you think about legalization in America? A lot of people are talking about it's happening soon. If that happens, do you anticipate that this is going to turn the entire market into a bull market? I think it will. That's what I've been betting. We're pretty much at 52-week lows here in Canada for the entire cannabis sector. I've been calling a bottom for everybody in my community. I've been watching the sector for 4 years. This is really kind of the bottom as far as I'm concerned. What do you think about that?
I completely agree with your assessment. And I don't know about you, but I totally saw the writing on the wall that when cannabis became officially legal in Canada, I was on all these radio shows telling everybody that there was going to be a 2-month correction. We're in the second part of that month, or about to start that. And you might have some tax loss selling maybe at the end of the year, but overall, I think right now for the month of December, it's probably the best time in a long time to buy cannabis stocks. And I do believe the federal government will make it legal within the next 2 years. A lot of people think it's not going to happen for 10 years, but I think President Trump will not overlook how many jobs are being created. Colorado is going to receive, I think in the last 12 months, or 12 months forward or 12 months back, I forgot, but it's $250 million in tax revenue. I can only imagine California will probably collect about $1 billion eventually. So I think that can't be, no one's going to overlook that. And again, this is a plant. There are people in jail for consuming a plant. It's completely absurd. The majority of Americans and voters are supporting it. And the most importantly, and here's why I believe President Trump will push to make this legal with a Democrat Congress, because if you look at the states that are legal, they also happen to be swing states in there. You've got Florida. You just had Michigan fully legalized. So it's not just about jobs and doing the right thing. It's also a little bit of politics in there. The fact that you don't want to have an anti-cannabis platform in swing states that you have to have in order to win the election.
100%. That is such a good point. I agree with you 100%. Now, Daniel, I know you're really busy today, so I'm going to let you go soon. If there's anything that people need to know as far as how to contact you, how to reach you, if they want to contact you for business, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Them just to reach out and go to futuremoneytrends.com. You guys can subscribe for free. You'll immediately receive whatever we're investing in, an idea, and of course, our weekly wealth digest. But go to futuremoneytrends.com. We also have a great report out, futuremoneytrends.com/dead. And it really goes over the projections of some of the things that are happening with the US dollar as well as the US empire.
Wow. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for your time today. I wish you all the best of luck. Let's do this again soon. I really appreciate your time. And I think that, futuremoneytrends.com is only going to get bigger. And it's only going to get better. And we'd love to be able to help you expand your reach. And for anyone that's watching, I'm going to put a link to Daniel's YouTube channel, Future Money Trends, in the description down below. So go and subscribe, okay? Thanks, Daniel. Have a nice day, everybody. This is your boy, Rich, from Rich TV Live with Daniel and Medjuri from futuremoneytrends.com. Have a nice day. Peace.